Haiti, an island nation in the Caribbean, is a place where history and culture are inseparable from the daily lives of its people. The story of Haiti is a story of resilience, struggle, and the creation of a unique identity shaped by centuries of migration, conquest, and survival. The majority of Haitians are descendants of enslaved Africans brought to the island during the transatlantic slave trade. These Africans came primarily from West and Central Africa, from areas corresponding to modern-day Benin, Nigeria, and the Congo. They were forced into brutal labor on sugar and coffee plantations under the control of French colonists. Life for these enslaved people was extremely harsh, with long hours of grueling work, little food, and cruel punishments. Despite these conditions, African cultural traditions, spiritual beliefs, and social systems endured. Music, language, religious practices, and oral histories carried across the ocean survived and adapted to their new environment, blending with European influences to form the foundations of Haitian culture. The resilience of Haiti's African-descended population is most dramatically illustrated by the Haitian Revolution, which began in 1791 and culminated in 1804. This revolution was unprecedented in its scope and success, leading to the creation of the first independent black republic in the world and the second independent nation in the Americas. Enslaved Africans and their descendants rose against French colonial rule, overthrowing the most powerful European empire of the time on the island. Leaders such as Toussaint Louverture, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, and Henri Christophe became symbols of courage and determination. The revolution not only secured freedom but also cemented African heritage as the central force shaping Haitian identity. Even today, the African majority's influence permeates the island through language, religion, and cultural practices. Haitian Creole, the language spoken by the vast majority of Haitians, evolved from French infused with African linguistic structures, and Voodoo, a religion rooted in West African spiritual traditions, remains central to daily life for millions. In addition to the African majority, a smaller but historically significant population of mixed African and European descent, known as the mulattoes, emerged during the colonial period. The mulatto community developed as French settlers and enslaved Africans intermarried, creating a mixed race class that occupied a complex social position. While enslaved Africans were forced into labor and stripped of rights, the mulattoes often had greater access to education, property ownership, and trade opportunities. Following independence, the mulatto class played important roles in politics, commerce, and cultural life. In urban centers such as Port-au-Prince and Pétionville, their influence remains evident in business, education, and local leadership. Their European ancestry also reinforced the continued use of French as an official language alongside Haitian Creole, reflecting the lingering colonial imprint on Haitian society. Before European colonization, the island was home to the Taino, an indigenous Arawakan-speaking people. The Taino population was drastically reduced due to disease, forced labor, and violent conflicts during the early colonial period, but their cultural legacy endures. Many modern Haitians carry traces of Taino ancestry, particularly in rural areas, and elements of Taino life survive in folklore, agricultural methods, and place names. This indigenous influence is a subtle but important part of Haiti's cultural tapestry, connecting contemporary society with the island's pre-colonial past and illustrating how layers of identity coexist within the population. Migration, both historical and modern, has continuously shaped Haiti's demographic composition. The transatlantic slave trade forcibly brought Africans to the island, while European colonists arrived seeking wealth and territory. In more recent times, migration has involved movement from neighboring Caribbean countries or the Dominican Republic, often motivated by employment, political instability, or natural disasters. The Haitian diaspora, particularly in the United States, Canada, and France, maintains close ties to the homeland. Haitian communities abroad send remittances that form a crucial part of the national economy, provide educational and entrepreneurial opportunities, and help preserve cultural practices far from the island. This global network contributes to a dynamic exchange of ideas, money, and traditions, reinforcing Haiti's identity both domestically and internationally. The housing market in Haiti is a critical lens through which to view the country's social and economic history. Housing is closely linked to colonial legacies, natural disasters, and socio-economic inequality. In urban centers like Port-au-Prince, housing demand is high due to population density and limited land availability. Wealthier neighborhoods contain multi-story concrete homes equipped with modern amenities, reflecting the influence of European architectural styles and the economic advantages of the property owners. In contrast, many working-class areas and informal settlements consist of simpler structures built with wood, corrugated metal, and other locally available materials. These homes are often highly vulnerable to hurricanes, flooding, and earthquakes, a vulnerability starkly revealed during the catastrophic 2010 earthquake, which destroyed large portions of the capital and displaced hundreds of thousands of people. Housing prices in Haiti vary greatly depending on location, size, and quality. In urban areas, particularly in the city center of Port-au-Prince, the average cost per square meter is significantly higher than in suburban or rural areas. High-demand neighborhoods with access to utilities, schools, and commercial centers see prices ranging upwards of $1,500 per square meter, while suburban areas might average closer to $900 per square meter. In rural regions, where infrastructure and modern services are limited, land and home prices are far lower, often making homeownership more attainable but accompanied by fewer amenities. The cost of building or buying a home in Haiti is often prohibitive for lower-income families, and limited access to formal financing compounds the challenge. Most Haitians cannot access mortgages or long-term loans, relying instead on savings, informal lending, or community-based support networks to acquire property. Efforts to improve housing have been driven by both necessity and innovation. Non-governmental organizations and local communities have pioneered housing projects that focus on affordability, resilience, and community development. Homes are constructed to withstand hurricanes and earthquakes, with reinforced structures, durable materials, and sometimes additional land for growing food. These projects recognize that housing in Haiti is not just about shelter but about stability, economic opportunity, and safety. Entire neighborhoods are often rebuilt with a focus on creating communal spaces, shared water sources, and sustainable infrastructure. These efforts highlight the intersection of history, economics, and cultural adaptation in the housing sector, demonstrating how the needs of people have shaped urban and rural landscapes alike. The housing situation in Haiti also reflects historical inequities. During the colonial period, land was concentrated in the hands of French colonists and a small elite, leaving the majority of the population landless and dependent on labor for subsistence. Post-independence, land reforms were uneven, and urban migration has continued to put pressure on housing supply in cities. Informal settlements and shantytowns often expand without legal recognition or basic services, illustrating ongoing challenges in property rights and urban planning. At the same time, wealthier families and communities can invest in secure, modern housing, creating visible disparities that echo the stratifications established centuries ago. Natural disasters have repeatedly tested the housing market, forcing both temporary and long-term adaptations. Hurricanes, tropical storms, and earthquakes have destroyed homes and infrastructure, necessitating reconstruction and innovation. In response, community-led building programs often incorporate earthquake-resistant designs, stronger foundations, and durable materials such as concrete blocks and steel reinforcements. These approaches blend traditional construction knowledge with modern techniques, creating housing that reflects both Haiti's history and its evolving needs. For many families, the ability to live in a structurally secure home represents not just physical safety but a reclaiming of dignity and stability in a country long marked by instability and hardship. Haiti's housing market is thus inseparable from its broader social and historical context. African heritage, mulatto influence, and remnants of indigenous Taino culture are visible not only in language, religion, and daily life but also in the architecture, community structures, and patterns of settlement. The interplay of history, migration, and socio-economic factors continues to shape where and how people live. Urban centers reflect economic stratification and historical concentration of wealth, while rural areas maintain traditional ways of living shaped by land inheritance, agriculture, and communal bonds. Both environments are affected by global connections through remittances, diaspora investments, and cultural exchange, demonstrating the continuing influence of migration on the physical and social landscape. The resilience of the Haitian people is evident in how they navigate these challenges. Despite frequent natural disasters, political instability, and economic barriers, communities continue to build, repair, and innovate. Housing projects are often collaborative, involving neighbors, families, and NGOs in shared efforts that reinforce social cohesion. The history of slavery, colonization, and revolution is not merely a distant memory but an active influence on how Haitians value home, family, and community. Property is not just land or a building, it is a symbol of survival, autonomy, and hope. Migration continues to influence housing trends as well. Haitians who return from abroad often bring knowledge of construction techniques, access to capital, or new architectural styles. These returning residents invest in urban or semi-urban properties, helping to modernize neighborhoods and create mixed-use developments that combine residential, commercial, and social spaces. Diaspora investments also help bridge gaps left by limited governmental capacity, illustrating how global movements of people and money affect local realities. Housing thus becomes a lens through which the broader story of Haiti's resilience, adaptation, and identity can be understood. Over centuries, Haiti has evolved into a society where African-majority culture, mixed-race influences, and indigenous legacies coexist and intermingle. These cultural layers are expressed not only in language, music, and religion but in the very homes where people live. Housing patterns reveal historical inequities, adaptive strategies, and the enduring determination of communities to thrive despite adversity. From the concrete high-rises of urban neighborhoods to the modest dwellings in rural areas, each structure tells a story of the people who built it, the struggles they endured, and the hopes they carry for the future. Understanding Haiti's population and housing market together offers a comprehensive view of the nation, a resilient society shaped by history, enriched by diversity, and continually adapting to face the challenges of the present and the opportunities of tomorrow.